Hey everybody. Later today I'm going to sign in to Microsoft Teams and we're going to do a live read aloud. With that being said, I wanted to quick answer a couple questions about the video quality or the video capability of Microsoft Teams. And for those of you that did find yourself with access to videos, you're the exception. Right now, Fulton County has actually, the intention is that students do not have video access and that only the teachers are. And unfortunately, right now, Microsoft Teams is the only application that they've approved for us to use for video conferencing. So we are still waiting to hear their suggestion for those of us that do want to see our students' faces. There was some discussion, I guess, about how it would be distracting for students, and not being able to have that feature where we can see everybody at once causes the screens to bounce back and forth, and it can be quite challenging. So we are pushing to be able to have access to other apps like Zoom and things like that to hopefully allow us to see the students' faces, because really that's the part that we're missing, is that interaction and that communication and collaboration, and we just miss seeing you guys. And so what you're posting through Seesaw is great. Seeing your photos and your videos is wonderful, but as a class we want to connect with each other beyond that. And so as soon as I have more information on that, I will share that with you. But what I did want to share with you is a quick thing on Microsoft Teams. So once you log in as a student, then you're going to click on this Barnes 2020, and that's where our class is. You can see immediately it pops up that there is a meeting started. So if you don't get a link from me, or you don't get an activity sent to you, or there's something that you're having trouble logging in, just go ahead and log straight into that Microsoft Teams app. Either download it, log in using your student ID number at fcstu.org, and then your birthday, or log into your Launchpad and go in through there to open up Microsoft 365 and then find your Teams. So I'm not going to click on this join, but if I did, it would join and it would pop right into that meeting. So tomorrow this will be an easy feature that your kids can do. Just go into Microsoft Teams at 10 o'clock. You don't even have to bother with the link, anything like that. You can just do this. Unfortunately, I think those of you that did have video, you were signed in as guests, and that is possibly why we had some students allowed access while some students didn't. We're still waiting on clarification. So for any of you that did have video, let me know if you were signed in as a guest or through the student's ID number, and that might help troubleshoot a couple things. So in lieu of a video where I'm going to talk about the characters and ways I would teach this, I am going to go through just a quick couple of resources, because I'm going to be doing the actual lesson about characters and character change through that Microsoft Teams. Anything that I share link-wise is either going to be posted in this extra resources document that was posted on our class website, and then anything that I find additional to this that I reference in the video or show in the class Teams meeting, I will make sure to put a link for those of you that are unable to attend. But if we look at the activity that I selected today, I did select Activity G, which is talking about strong characters. So I have a book picked out that I'm going to read that has a strong character, a character that responds to events throughout the story. We notice from the beginning of the year that characters change in our stories, and a lot of times it's an inspiring change. And so how did they change, and why did they change, and what caused them to change, and how did they adapt to the problems and the situations in the story? That gets us to think more critically about our text, and that makes us better, stronger readers, because we're thinking, we're curious, we're engaged in what we're reading, and we want to see what we can learn from it. Is this a lesson that I can take with me as my own person? Is this something that I need to be aware of? Or what if I am in a similar situation? Or you know what, that reminds me, I was in a situation like that before and I did not act like that. So how could I be more like this particular character? So that's kind of what this is. This is just reading and paying attention to. So it's having a discussion about it. Record yourself talking about it on Seesaw. Write it down in the notebook if you want to. You know, make a pic collage where you're showing your characters and talking about how they change. And there's plenty of resources if you're looking for a template of, this is my character before, and then draw an arrow, and this is what my character looks like after. And we did some of those at the beginning of the year. So you have some good practice here. So I want to encourage you to think back to some of our characters from that character unit that we've studied. We looked at Wadney Wat and how he changed from being this shy mouse to finding his confidence throughout the story. Chrysanthemum, very similar. She adored her name, and then she changed to not liking her name because of the other characters in the story. And then what ended up happening at the end, and how did she overcome those feelings of doubt she was having about herself? Ruby Copycat was kind of the opposite. Ruby Copycat was copying everybody because she was insecure and unfamiliar with herself, and she felt that she, in order to be cool or popular or whatever the case may be, she was going to follow every step that girl took in the book. And then at the very end, she started copying the teacher even, and then the teacher kind of helped her realize that she had her own unique special traits, and how did she change, and what made her become a stronger character. And we also look at our fairy tale characters. We looked a lot at Hansel and Gretel, and we looked at Cinderella, and we looked at, through all of our fiction stories that we've been reading so far this year, we have these strong characters that go through these changes, and what can we take out of that? If you're looking for resources to continue on exploring this after our chat, or if you missed our chat, there is a Brain Pop Junior video that is on characters, and this is going to go through character changes and character traits. For those of you who are familiar, those character trait sheets that we use in class all the time, those kind of pinkish, reddish ones that we use that talk about our characters and who they are. We don't want to use words just like, oh, they're nice, or oh, they're silly. We look for ways to deepen our understanding of our characters. So that's a reference right there, as well as, let's see if it'll load real quick. This was just a good article that I enjoyed reading that was about how to help your students dig deeper into character changes. So really looking at this character in Charlotte's Web, and it just goes through from a teaching standpoint, just how to really deepen, instead of just saying who's the character and what do you know about the character, really looking for ways to address how they change and the relationships that they have, and it gives you just some really good, if you're a parent looking for some more resources, some more understanding of it, gives you some good books for introducing the skill. Bad Case of Stripes by David Shannon is a great one. Sheila the Brave is by the same author as Chrysanthemum. Enemy Pie, we haven't read this year, but we do have. So it's just a good, and then there's also some free resources. You just have to put in your email address in there, or you can feel free to put in my email address if you want to, because I've already done that before. However, it would send to me instead of you, so you might want to send it to you. But it's going to give you this great template here that gives you the events, causes for change, how they felt, how I felt as a reader. Just a really good bit of information here. And if you really want to take it a step further, this Charlotte's Web book, it can be a great book study, depending on how long this goes and where we're at. It's just a different specific unit. However, she does have those free resources right here, and then she does go into that specific one, but these first couple are generic. So you could use that as a good resource. The last thing that I want to mention that I'm going to assign is an activity that Miss Rios created that goes along with this. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more student-led, student-independent, then there's this iReady lesson. We were able to find a way to link an iReady lesson directly into it without the students needing to log in or go through their setting. So you just are going to hit go, and it's going to actually take them through the lesson as we see it. So those iReady lessons we can complete independently without having to log in and assign them. We're still figuring out with the assignments for grade purposes and things like that, so we'll let you know about that. But I did want to say that those activities, again, in Seesaw are always optional. They're just there as extra resources for you along with this document here. So while this document here is all about it's broken down into specific categories, I did want to also share that if you are looking for a book to read and you are finding with this, I know Johns Creek hasn't officially been requested on lockdown, but I know that here in Atlanta, and I know DeKalb is starting some similar enforcements of restrictions, if you will, which I think are necessary for sure. We are on lockdown here, so we are not able to go to the library anymore, or not able to go to go get new books and things like that. So utilize these online free books as much as you can. Books are those online video books that are read aloud to you. Tumble Books, here's our Medlock password. It's free online books. Magic Blocks, Epic, if you haven't signed in, there's so many books on Epic. And then here's a free ebooks collection. So there's a lot of really good reading resources on this page. We're going to continue adding to this page and keeping this constantly linked on the second grade website. So even though next week's resources are going to change, this one will stay put so that you have it for future use. So I will be, I know our timeline is going to be a little bit different because of the activity. So I'm going to post math pretty soon after this one. So that way you have those resources, and then that way we can just kind of flip and put our reading at 10 o'clock. So I hope to see you guys there. If you don't make it this time, I'm planning to make Wednesday a weekly read aloud, and then hopefully continue to, the more we get familiar with it, the more lessons and things like that we can host. So I hope you guys are off to a great start of the day. Please keep sharing.